DSGN View. Here we examine the obstacles combating our nation and we consciously think out of the box to offer alternative solutions and recommend long-term goals to solve them. My name is Oluwafumito Adeleye and I am with the Diaspora Solution Group Nigeria, a non-profit organization with its headquarters in Los Angeles, California and Seattle, Washington, as well as representatives here in Nigeria. Our mission is short. We believe that no country develops without the aid of the diaspora's efforts. And as US President JFK once said, ask what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. Here on DSGN View today, we will be looking at the topic youth development. Join me when I come back from this break. Welcome back. It's still DSGN View. And with me on the show, I have Linda Bayero. I also have with me Blessing Bunwachuku. Okay, we have our guest in the house with us, and we have Barrister Moses Obaditon, who is a legal practitioner. He holds a master's degree in political science and is majored in foreign policy from the University of Lagos, where he proceeded to University of Benin and read law before proceeding to law school in Abuja. He was formerly Edo State correspondent for News Magazine and formerly SA Media to Governor Aregbesola. He has authored 2 books, namely Antidotes for Political Violence and 21 Principles of Dynamic Leaders. He has also written hundreds of articles. Welcome on the show, Barrister Moses.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we'll start the show by asking you exactly who is a youth?
A youth is someone who is in his early age, fresh, dynamic, and ready to fly. In fact, the United Nations made us realize that the youth are people of the age of 18 to 45. That notwithstanding, they are the people who are the lifeline, the strong pillar of their country because of their freshness and their youthfulness.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, do we see any major causes of we not having our youths being developed in Nigeria?
Well, there have been challenges. First, from home. Because of pursuit of economy, most of the homes have no time to raise up their youth properly. There are the challenge of economic adversity facing our country and continent, which led to a high percentage of youth not having access to education. And even those who have access to education will not apply them after they have graduated. And instead of being properly utilized, they take it to crime as the last alternative. So these are some of the challenges confronting the youth, just to mention a few.
And how can we say the Nigerian educational system has failed to equip youth with the necessary skills?
It was due to failure to properly implement the syllabus and scheme of education in our country. If you look at the educational pursuits and plan of Nigeria, a certain percentage are supposed to have what we call technical education or technical education. And that's why we have technical schools all over in Nigeria. And as the product of this technical college, we eventually proceed to College of Education. However, government in their own wisdom, when it comes into placement, those who attend university who have BSc, this and that, are given level 8, while those in technology are given level 7. And this, because of this inferiority complex, a large percentage of youth are now refusing to have access or even attempt going to College of Technology.
So we are now saying that integrating technology into our educational system is going to go a long way in enhancing the educational system. All
along, we have that pursuit and plan by the government to have technological education integrated. The only thing is that because of the shortcoming, challenges of leadership, they have not allowed them to put the necessary equipments or asset or assistance to ensure that those who have technical education at their own way are well prepared for the market. So as a result, what we have is that we have people who pass through the school without the school passing through them to make them efficient in whichever area. No industry can run it without product from these technological schools.
So, sir, when we shift a little bit further, when we are talking about youth development, we can also talk about entrepreneurship. So, can you please help us highlight some of the challenges faced by the young ones when they are trying to, come up with their own businesses, scale through their businesses? It's
also back to the issue of government planning and syllabuses. If you attend university in the last maybe 10 to 15 years, it has been incorporated into most of the universities entrepreneurship, which they made compulsory. It is one thing to make you to pass through. It's another thing to assist you by ensuring by the time you graduate, their financial assistance, skill acquisition, which you can go and apply what you have learned in the schools. But of most of these things, these people are left alone. And as a result, there's no way of utilizing what they have acquired in form of skill. So, but however, the government are gradually waking up from their sleep by ensuring that we have what we call AI, artificial intelligence, then another computer education, and many other facilities are gradually being brought back so that those people who have had this technical education can also add them to what they have got and then be gainfully employed. So government are trying in this day to ensure that things like that are properly utilized.
So, sir, I would like to take us a little bit further again, talking about, you see, that if you look at this particular period, there is a pandemic in the country where we call it, most of us call it, the young ones call it Japa. So, sir, what do you think does it affect the local economy, the way the Nigerian youths are moving out of the country, to other countries?
I would disagree with you. It's not an epidemic. It's rather than a social necessity. If you look at the forefathers of our political history, they also Japa. Zeke was in America, Awo was in UK, Amadu Bello was here and there. In fact, at the point in time, some of our earlier graduates has to walk from here to Freetown to acquire this education. So if we are gradually going today, it's because of those people who have built it before the military tribunal fails to do what is needed. What are those things? Creating enabling environment. Government cannot employ everybody, but where government fail to engage people or create a facility, either giving loan or create an institution where they can be. So what's wrong? The period I'm talking to you, even till the early 80s. In fact, the teacher who took me at A-level in Kwarate is from Britain, Mrs. Price. So if we are going, we are simply exporting our skill so that those people who are in need, for example, if you look at the issue in Canada, there's this English Canada, there's French Canada.
Yes.
So and most of our graduates are being employed there, and many other countries which they require and then part of the medical line. If you look at it, in Western countries, they have shortage of medical personnel, and we have excess here. And when government cannot even pay those people they engage, so what's stopping them from exporting what we have? So to us, it's not a malady. It's only become a malady when they now have enough wealth, and they cannot reinvest the same resources. And however, if you look at what is coming from diaspora, a high percentage of money that are coming from this same group. So it is a good thing. It's an exchange. But then the government should also open their doors to ensure that those they engage are well enumerated, and then the facility, the equipment required are also brought home here so that people can express what they have learned.
All right, Barrister, I want to ask, we're looking at our youth in the political arena. The majority of our youths wish to participate in political processes and also engage in government activities. Now, but we see that many of them are not given the opportunity and the chance to do that. In what way will that contribute to our youth not being developed?
Well, I would call it accident of history. Most of those who are early leaders were in their 20s and 30s. Shibola Age was 23 when he became secretary of a political party. Chief Obafemi Awolowo was 37 when he became premier. Chief Akintola was 36 when he became deputy premier. the prime minister then, Tafawa Balewa, was 38. When you look at this one, they fall on the age. But because of military interregnum, that means they intervene. And for the period in which they take, a large number of these political groups have nothing basically to use or to work on. Now that the military are back in barrack, the youth should have taken over from them and are being kept away, either being used as a foot soldier or as thugs. But however, you are gradually telling them, look, if you cannot use your son, you can also use me.
Yes.
Because they are now more educated, they are more sophisticated, and they feel they have a chance to be able to participate. The only thing that hinders them is money. Because most of these political leaders have deep pockets. They have the resources that young ones are not having. But that notwithstanding, they are coming of age. So what we are saying is that the government has to give them the opportunity. They don't even need any legislation to do it. Because if you happen to come from an area and you are able to exhibit the character, which you are called omoluabi, that definitely your age and your money will count less. Yeah, we know our politics is money politics. That notwithstanding, I know with time our youth will come of age, because most of these people, they are aged, they have overfed, they are eating the resources, and the youth should be able to turn it around, because they travel abroad. They are what we call comparative politics. They know what is happening in Ghana, they know what's happening in South Africa.
So can we say poverty among most Nigerian youth? Because we all know that Nigeria is really facing poverty among youth. Most youth have the ideas, the business ideas, but they lack opportunities, they lack capital. So can we say the poverty now among youth have really limited their economic opportunities?
To some degree, I would disagree with you. When you are talking of poverty, poverty is divided into two. There is poverty of idea or mental incapacity. There is the material poverty.
Wow.
So if you are suffering from material poverty, it's temporary. But if you are suffering from mental incapacity, you do not have the rationale, the ability to think out of box, then these people will exploit you. However, because of the modern facilities, international politics, comparative analysis, the youth can then overcome what they refer to as poverty by acquiring, because somebody said, what is worse than being blind? He said, what is worse than being blind is to be without a vision. Once a man has vision, even if he's born by nobody, he can become somebody because of that vision. So it is your vision that will tell you how far you can go. Somebody once said, he said your attitude will depend your altitude. Yeah. So if our youth is able to look and push poverty, they are using that as a slogan, and push it ahead and say, look, I may be materially poor, but I have this thing offered, which is skill, definitely. They'll be able to overcome. So it is not the poverty alone. There are other challenges which they are gradually overcoming, which are related.
So are we now saying, sir, that if you have the skill, if you acquire the skills and training, even without capital, you can do something, you can come up with something?
So you can. Ask me how.
Okay.
Let's assume Mr. Obaditon read mechanical engineering, and then I have no money, and government are not ready to employ me. Do I need to get any permission to set up a motor garage where people can be coming and haven't you seen women mechanic in recent time?
Of course.
So the issue is not because of money or no money. It's all a matter of vision. Your vision will take you to where, to make you to soar where nobody in your family has never been.
Thank you very much, Barrister. All right, it's still DSGN View. Right about now, we'll listen to the view of our people on the street.
For concerning the youths, globally, the youths drive development. Every nation that wants to get it right in terms of a productive sector has to focus more on the youths. And this drives us into how well do you achieve development for these youths. And this comes from the angle of literacy and education. Now, when you take a retrospection, when you go back into the 70s and the 80s, you will see that those who drove development in this country were youths. And that was why we were able to have youths that were leaders who were in their early 30s and 40s, becoming presidents and taking over ministerial orders, because they had a solid background when it comes to literacy and education. The curriculum then fits into how well a functional youth should be, and that is where you have hard work coming into play. And this hard work actually translated into them understanding that for everybody to be seen as a responsible person, you must have something that you are aligned to. And that's why the education and the literacy starts from the home. You have parents taking care of these youths, then the society being participating actively in the socialization of these youths. And you had people who were genuinely interested in making their own contribution into development. There are quite a number of agendas that were set. And from the agenda perspective, there is not just singing the problems. There are avenues to do what? To do the solutions. When you know that from my own table, from your own table, we must look at what is mutually exclusive, what will benefit our country. An American wakes up every day and says, God bless America. Every Nigerian wakes up to say, we are in a zoo. We are in a doomed country. I mean, it's all about the behavior and what you will see. So the first thing has to be conscientization. The second thing I see is, now, let us believe in the workings of our governments. Yes, for so many years, the trust level had been lost. We do not have trust in, even when they mean well, we do not trust them. But the first thing is, we must believe in the Nigerian projects.
Barrister, I want you to leave our youth with one or two parting words that they can take along.
Yeah, what I want to leave them with is the story of Uncle Ho, a Vietnamese, who took on the French for 30 years, having gone abroad to study and to acquire knowledge. And because the French first of all colonized it. After then, the American came. And for the next 20 years, they also took the American. And for the first time, America left Afghanistan in disgrace. Why? Because that people determined, using their youth, not only to dialogue, but to sacrifice their vision and mission. And today, that country is liberated from colonialism. So I want to encourage you, ask yourself, why am I here? What is the purpose of my living? What am I going to be in the next 5 years? What do I want to leave behind? Today mark about 38 years since Awolowo died. Why are people still remembering him? They are remembering him because of his vision and mission. So what is your mission in this Nigeria and where you come from? Your mission will write a letter of unforgettable and will make your name to be written in the sound of history.
Thank you very much, Barrister. Okay, you've heard it all from our Barrister. You need to have a vision and also a mission to carry you along. I appreciate my co-presenters for coming on the show today, and thank you, Barrister. I'm sure when next we call you, you'll gladly oblige us. Okay, we'll like to hear from you on our social media handles. You can like, comment, and also share our show on various social media handles that you see on the screen. Thank you for joining us. Love to see you next time, same station. Bye-bye.